Well, I think Kate has learned an awful lot from her legacy project, the early years project, about how to bring children up. And she came from a very, very stable, happy family home, um, growing up with her sister Pippa and brother James. And they had a very outdoorsy lifestyle and very relaxed, walks in the countryside, playing lots of sport, animals, that type of thing. And I think that she has learned a lot from her mother. She wants to replicate her happy childhood for her children. Equally, I think William has obviously fond memories of the fun he had with his mother, Princess Diana, the treats, the trips out, not the formal palace stuff, but going to Alton Towers, going to McDonald's, going to the cinema. I think Diana and Carol Middleton obviously wanted their children to have a very happy childhood, and Kate and William want their children to be brought up as much as possible as other children are. I think both William and Kate are very much agreed on how they bring their children up, and they don't want to shout at them, hector them, have the naughty step. I think they believe very much in explaining to the children what they've done wrong and why they have to behave so well in public. Obviously, they can let their hair down and you know during their own time, and I think they behave as any other child does. And there's a lot of banter and a lot of fun at home. Kate's quite relaxed. And I think the key thing is about having fun and letting off steam outdoors. And if there are loud words or arguments, then the children are very quickly separated and told off. But I think that they're a very relaxed couple, and it shows in the way they are with their children. You see Kate, particularly when she's out on royal tours, sort of crouching down to children's level and looking at them eye to eye. And I think that's a very important thing to be on the same level as children and explain what they've done wrong and listen to them. She and William are obviously very tactile. We've seen lots of wonderful pictures of them holding their children's hands, taking them to school or on bike rides or whatever. They're very relaxed with their children, and I think that if stern words have to be had, they're the rarity.
We absolutely love Prince Louis. He's such a delightful child. But obviously we see him sometimes being a bit more sort of rambunctious than the other kids in public. Have you noticed how Kate sort of deals with that? She seems very, very controlled and calm. Is there anything that you've noticed in particular she does to help him maybe calm down?
Well, I think she talks to him, she chats to him. We saw during the Queen's Jubilee pageant that he was very tiny then and getting very bored. But I think he ended up on the now King's lap. And, he, as any other child, he needs entertainment and he needs to be talked to and explained to. And Kate will have a quiet word, but she's not someone to raise her voice to her children. She's very much sort of listening to them, cuddling them, being affectionate towards them, and listening to what they're upset about. I think that's probably one of the key things, that instead of telling them to behave, she's sort of like, yes, I know it's a bit tiring, I know it's a bit boring, but you'll be able to go and have fish fingers in an hour, whatever. I think she reasons with her children.
Do you think they talk all the time about their sort of very unique futures that are ahead in the royal family, or do you think they keep it to a minimum and just let them be kids most of the time with that kind of in mind, but brought up rarely?
I think that it's I think it's a lifestyle that they're growing up. I don't think that they're going to put the weight of the world on their children's shoulders at this stage. George obviously knows that he's going to be king one day, but he's still tiny, and the other two are much younger. I think that they know that they go out on certain public engagements. They're very, very rare. They're usually to do something that the children love. I mean, William and Kate have taken them to the football and, to watch the tennis and things that are, their interests, as opposed to parading them in public for a great amount of time. We have seen them on the odd royal tour when they've been very little and not at school. But I think the focus is very much on giving them a normal childhood. They go to school. They've now broken up. They're at Anmer Hall, and then they're going up to Balmoral, and they'll have a very similar summer holiday to their peers at school, although of course they are, members of the royal family.
The family do have a Norland nanny, Maria Borello, who is often seen in the background of photos. Can you tell me a little bit about the Norland nannies and what kind of ethos they have and what kind of parenting things they bring into looking after other people's kids?
I mean, Norland nanny is the sort of gold standard in training to be a nanny, and they're taught all sorts of things, how to cook for children, nutrition, how to discipline them, teach them, the basics of language and literature, keep them entertained. And I think they obviously know how to bring up children, but nothing can take away from a mother's role. I think that any good mother probably will try and give their children as much outdoors time as possible, if nothing else, to exhaust them so they sleep. Screen time is not the best way, so the experts say, in bringing up children, but obviously they will have some screen time, but it will be limited. And I think as both William and Kate's childhoods, screens are a relatively new phenomenon. And, I don't suppose that the children have iPhones at this stage. They're still quite little. They'll probably watch some television, but the focus will be very much on games and playing, whether indoors or outside, and learning to garden, learning to how, visiting animals, going to zoos, all learning about other people, other experiences, but very much not playing games on an iPad or iPhone.
And finally, you said they were at Amner Hall for part of the summer. What kind of activities do they do there typically?
I think the same things that they do anywhere else. They have a lovely garden. They have animals. They'll garden. They'll climb trees. They'll go cycling. They'll go down to the beach. It's a very beautiful beach, and into the town shopping. There's a local petting zoo. I think it's very much about it's very much a place where they're left alone and they can get on with their lives in very much the same way as other people.